Hi Chetan, Bhavna, Bhaumik. You will not be able to speak, but still, hi from our side. Hi Chetan. I really like this bunch of people who always try to join before 5 minutes of the session. Early birds. To all the participants who have joined till now, very warm welcome. Please stay tuned. We will start the session sharp at 3 o'clock. So still 4 minutes to go. Thank you so much, Raghunandan. Thanks for joining. So Vikas, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, yes. So just 2 more minutes and we'll start the session.
Sounds fantastic.
So you're in Delhi, Mumbai, which location, which city?
So I'm currently in Ahmedabad. I usually shift between Ahmedabad and Bangalore. That's where my two offices are. But Corona times,
Okay,
so currently now in Ahmedabad.
okay. Got it. So Milestone have like offices here also in Ahmedabad, or you work
Yes,
remotely? Okay.
I have office in Ahmedabad. In fact, that was the first location we've had from last almost 15 odd years. And
Hmm.
Bangalore office is a pretty recent setup, 2 odd years.
Okay. Got it. So since how long like you are with the current organization?
2 years. I'm the one who set up the Bangalore office after I joined.
Oh, nice. Like I was discussing with you, like, and many of our participants, like your last webinar with HRAI, it was really interesting, and we were really looking forward to have the this kind of the solo individual session with you, and the topic itself is very interesting. So very excited to learn.
And so am I. It was fantastic to have HRAI session last time, and it's a great response that we've got. So I'm very excited today to share my knowledge, and again, as per the topic suggests, even I would love to learn something along the way from all the participants. So I really would appeal everyone to be as active as possible. I think I told this to you, Nehali, yesterday. I don't like providing pravachans. So I'm more into interactions. So I would love if everyone can participate and in whatever small capacity they can. I
Yeah.
would give out few questions during my session, and would be great if everyone can just put in few words from their experiences in the chat box. That will make it really interactive for all of us, right?
Yeah.
So my goal for today, I want to learn one thing in next 45 minutes. So that's what I'm going to focus on. Definitely, I'll share my knowledge and my learnings along the way. But I am very looking forward to learn at least one thing in next 1 hour, and that's what my goal is.
True. And today is the perfect day, Friday. So everybody would be in that lighter mode. And so we are hoping that like the chat box will be more interactive than the
Absolutely,
other working days. Yeah.
absolutely. I'm hoping the same.
Okay, so it's 3 o'clock now. So let's start with today's masterclass. So once again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to all of you in our today's masterclass. Learning never exhausts the mind, which is rightly quoted by Leonardo da Vinci. A learning culture is a collection of organizational conventions, values, practices, and processes. These conventions encourage employees and organizations to develop knowledge and competency. An organization with a learning culture encourages continuous learning and believes that the systems influence each other. If the learning stops, innovation stops. And if innovation stops, so does the progress. And that will be very well discussed in our today's masterclass. So let's hear it from our expert today, Mr. Vikas Sheth. HR Association of India, happy to have you all to the 2020 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic The Learning Culture DNA. To know more about HRAI and its events, I would request all our participants to please visit the link and details posted in the chat window. I would also request all the participants to kindly follow the masterclass guidelines, which has been posted in the chat window. We would also like to have your valuable feedback on this session, and for the same, we would be running a poll before the Q&A session. So I would request all of you to please participate in this poll. I now take a privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker for today, Mr. Vikas Sheth. Country Head Milestone Inc. Vikas is a programmer and a marketer with an experience of 14 plus years. He loves building products and innovative business models. Vikas is passionate about impacting people's lives. A country head India at Milestone Inc. Next big thing in Hash Martech. Vikas is also an avid traveler who has visited 20 plus countries across 5 continents. He is true Martech enthusiast with an entrepreneurial mindset. You can also follow him on LinkedIn at the link which is posted in the chat window. So now without taking much time, I now welcome Mr. Vikas Sheth to take over the session. Vikas, thank you so much for accepting our invite and being with us here today. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Nehali, for the warm welcome and the introduction. It's my pleasure to be back on HRAI session again. I'm very excited, and I'll repeat the same thing what I said a few minutes back. My goal today is to learn one thing new, which I have not been exposed to in my life. And that's my goal for next 45 minutes to 1 hour that we will spend time together. And along the way, I hope I can also impart some wisdom of what I've had in my career and my journey. Um, and again, let me share my screen and probably we can take it from there. 1 second. By the way, I hope everyone is keeping well. We are living in a crazy times right now. So I'm really wishing that everyone's family and friends are keeping well due to Corona. So please, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep social distancing. That's the learning we've had over the last 6 months. And I wish everyone a very safe times ahead as well. Okay, so back to the main point. First of all, thank you so much, everyone, for joining on a Friday afternoon. I'm sure each one of you is looking forward to a great weekend. I guess work from home has probably increased the work for all of us. So my goal today is we can learn something new in next 45 minutes, and along the way have some fun as well. So I'll just skip this. So I have a habit that whenever we discuss something, we first need to understand why we are discussing it. What is the rationale? What is the reason why we are doing something? And Nihali already introduced this quote that if the learning stops, innovation stops. And if the innovation stops, so does the progress. This is the reason why learning is extremely important criteria, not only for organizations, but also for each and every individual. And look at the next statement. The World Economic Forum recently declared reskilling emergency. Mind you, the word emergency, as the world faces more than a billion jobs transformed by technology. Right now, we as an organization, Milestone Inc., are working fully remotely. We are a 300 people company. We never thought it would have been possible 6 months before. The skills that are needed today are going to be drastically different going forward. And we have to, as a almost 15% of the jobs will be impacted. That's a huge number. We struggle to meet reskilling goals. How many of you are working in IT companies and you must have people who are doing backend development and you would wish that, hey, what if they could just become full stack developers? A lot of you are actually having people who would want them to talk to clients directly. Still, there are so many gaps. Whenever we develop learning and development programs, we at times are not able to get 100% potential of the programs that we create. Definitely you have successes, but along the way there are a lot of challenges as well. And companies keep on struggling having this reskilling goals, and a lot of individuals along the way, they also struggle to learn new and unfamiliar topics effectively. So again, I would want to take a pause here. A lot of you are from HR background, and you must have experienced reskilling goals.
Requesting everyone to please stay tuned. Maybe there is some internet issue. Hello, Vikas, are you there? He will be joining in soon, so would request all of you to stay tuned.
Hey, my apologies, guys. I think there was some problem at my side for internet. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, perfect.
Okay. So, Nihali, I don't know how or when I was lost in the internet during the internet breakup.
Yeah, you
So,
were. Yeah, so you were going to ask something to the
okay,
participants.
wonderful. So, I'm sure each one of you somewhere down the line have come across learning and development program. A lot of you are part of HR groups, HR fraternity as a larger uh, sort of a team. From your perspective, what are the key challenges or key reasons why this challenge exists? Why learning and development programs are not so effective? Would love to see some response, even if it means 2 3 words in the chat box. Uh, and Nehal, if you can just share some insights, what people are saying would be great.
Sure, sure. It's a forced initiative.
Okay,
Sustainability of programs. People are not interested in learning.
very good. What else?
Yes. Would request participants keep posting your comments. Busy with BAU, lack of
Lack of
resources,
business as
momentum
usual.
is lost after session. Most of them are reactive programs instead of proactive approach, busy with workload and urgent deliverables. It's a calendar driven work.
Yeah, I like the very first comment made by Sapna, which says it's a forced initiative. And for me, that is the key why this challenge exists. From my perspective, I've been on both the sides as an employee who has received the training programs and as part of executive team who designs training programs. And the biggest challenge which I see from my perspective is we do not recognize the actual problem itself. We do not understand learning itself very well. And then we create learning framework on top of that assumptions. Whenever we talk about learning, we talk about, or we think about, or we execute an instructor, a classroom, notes, exams. This is our typical modus operandi when we talk about learning. So, and it's not our fault. We have been brought up from that mindset. We learn during our school days, from college, we go to B school, the same framework that you have. You have an instructor, he or she will come, provide some knowledge, and at the end of the day, you will learn something in that. However, the real life does not behave like that. You learn some, or you are in school or in college for 20 years of your life, and suddenly you are into profession which does not, or which is not suitable for a typical learning mindset that we have. And for me, without recognizing this actual problem, that first we need to understand what is learning in the professional environment. Once we understand that, and after on top of that, if we create learning and development programs, for me, it will create beautiful results. It will no longer be a forced initiative. It will no longer be sort of a added calendar work. It will no longer be sort of a business as usual. So this is where, from my perspective, the biggest gap in current learning methodology itself. So what is it that we will cover today in this session? We are gonna uncover the DNA of learning. We'll break down how the learning mindset works and will unlock the core skill sets of a lifelong learner. Unfortunately or fortunately, I'm not going to give you any frameworks. I'm not going to give you case studies. I'm not going to give you any generic best practices to create culture in the office or even how to create culture. However, I'm going to focus on something very, very fundamental: the meaning of learning, how the learning mindset works. Am I going to discuss something new which has not been discovered before? Absolutely not. But the goal for me today is to become self aware and acknowledging the need of being a learner. More importantly, intentional learner. Do you guys feel this is something you've not been exposed to? Any comments, any thoughts, guys? Give me one
Yes,
second.
yes, yes. Many people are feeling the same.
Excellent. Share my screen again. So let's first understand what is intentional learner. And before we get to the bottom of being an intentional learner, let us first recognize a fact that learning itself is a skill. And if you really want to be a learner, you have to convert learning into a habit. So people, and I've seen a lot of great, I've had the privilege of working with a lot of people who progress in their career very, very, very quickly. And what I have understood from them is these people have really mastered the mindset and skills of learning effectively. And they are not again learning through a traditional classroom environment. There is a clear intention. Hello? Hey, am I audible, Nihali?
Yes, yes, Vikas, you are good.
Okay. Okay. So for whatever reason, if it stops, just put a message. Okay.
Sure, sure.
Unfortunately, my internet is giving me troubles today. Okay.
Yes,
So
sure.
the most fundamental skill for any professional to cultivate in the coming decades is to become an intentional learner. What it means is we have to find learning opportunities in each and every moment that we are awake. Whether you are having a discussion or a meeting with a coworker, if you are doing the review during that scenario, if you are a marketeer and creating a marketing program and talking to a client during that time, you have to have a mindset wherein each and every experience, if you take it as a learning opportunity, wherein you consciously, whatever information you receive, you process that information as if it is a learning opportunity. Am I learning something new or not? If the intention that you have in your mind is that becomes an intentional learner mindset. And we as an individual and as an organization have to unlock this intentionality. So today we'll talk about how can we become a learner, how can we unlock this intentionality of being a lifelong learner. Again, I'll repeat the same thing, and this is really, really, really crucial. Intentionality is extremely important. So take each and every moment as a learning opportunity, and this is easier said than done. More importantly, a lot of people might feel that, hey, I cannot learn this. And that is the most mindset we need to get rid of. First, we need to acknowledge each of us. There is not even a single exception. Each of us can become an intentional learner. And today I'll expose you to very simple core fundamentals and skill sets which you can practice in your life to become this intentional learner. I'm going to expose two critical mindsets and 5 core practices which you can start implementing right from today, from this very moment. So let me take a pause here. I don't think so this is something which you do not know. I am very sure that if I ask a question that, take a guess, what are these critical mindsets? I am pretty sure more than 50% of you will be able to give the right answer. So let me take a random test here. What do you guys think are the 2 critical mindsets for creating or for becoming a lifelong learner? Just throw some, whatever answers that come to your mind in the chat box. Tell me, what do you feel are the major mindsets which are necessary for becoming a learner? Any thoughts, guys?
First is willingness and determination
Okay.
from Sapna. Being inquisitive always and willingness, focus, acceptance, curiosity, growth.
Very good. I think I have got the answers, right?
Enthusiasm.
Wonderful. Positivity, proactiveness.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me get to the bottom of it. Actually, the answers are right here in the in some of the folks have said, and exactly this is what Shweta C and Shweta Mukherjee. I think both Shwetas are really really awesome. Curiosity and growth mindset. That is the key in terms of unlocking this intentionality. Okay, so the first mindset in terms of being a intentional learner is growth mindset. I'm sure everyone has heard a lot on the growth mindset, so I'm not going to give or go a lot deeper into this. However, I'll take a deeper dive into other aspects which I feel are relatively unexplored. Still, just to conclude couple of things, and I do feel these are very very crucial. Not having a growth mindset has a lot of challenges. What it means is it limits your success. You are limiting yourselves, not having a luxury to be something more powerful, something more fulfilling in your mind. So definitely from that perspective, growth mindset is extremely important. From my perspective, growth mindset is nothing but being open to possibilities. You should be open to all the possibilities. And how can you do that? How can you open yourself to all the possibilities? Whether you are working as an individual contributor and tomorrow you want to lead entire department or entire organization, what is the one small thing you need to change which will give you dramatic results? I have done this personally in my life, and it has given me excellent results, at least in my own career. And that one single thing is shifting your inner dialogue. Each one of us talks to themselves or her or himself in their own mind. The very moment you shift the way you talk to yourself, you will be able to unlock growth mindset. A lot of people, and this is me myself, I used to think like this: I'm terrible at giving presentations. From that point, when I started thinking that, hey, it's just about having more practice in front of others. So the way you talk to yourself is not that, hey, I'm terrible at giving presentations. The way I talk to myself is I need more practice in front of others. And then the world became my playground. I started giving presentations to each and every team I met, each and every, um, I've been in a startup life, each and every investor I met, just started giving presentations, and I slowly and steadily became more confident. So the dialogue that I had within myself was, I need more practice. So I just reinforced that behavior. Same thing, a lot of people I work with today, they are managers or senior managers, and they have a ambition to be a director or head of department. And the dialogue that they have in their mind is, I will never be able to get this promotion. However, if the same dialogue can be shifted to, I need this additional concrete XYZ experience before I am ready to that promotion, for me, that is much more open and allowing the possibility of having the growth mindset. So there is, and I'm sure you'll find lots of books who will tell you about growth mindset, how it can be developed. For me, thus this one particular piece of advice has helped me a lot. And I myself have read at least 5 or 6 books on growth mindset. But this one advice has really resonated well with me. I've used it, and a lot of my team members have used it, wherein you shift your own inner dialogue. So with this, I'll move into something more interesting today, which is curiosity mindset. For me, this is a very, very highly ignored topic, curiosity. From last few quarters, I would say, we've added a criteria in hiring people. Are they curious or not? And there are certain questions that we have come up with in terms of understanding or assessing the curiosity index of a person. And guys, believe me, the people we have hired, by making some compromise in terms of if they have less knowledge on Angular, little less knowledge on, say, C Sharp, little less knowledge on, say, paid media marketing strategy, that compromise is good enough. But not having a compromise on curiosity mindset has given us tremendous results. People have just come in, learned new things, given that they have developed this curiosity mindset. And this has been extremely important weapon for us in terms of identifying, I would say, hidden talent. A lot of times people are not uh, creative or amazing during interview process, but as an interviewer, if you are able to poke into this mindset of a person, you are able to easily understand the potential of a person. So for me, this has been a great weapon in terms of identifying the right skills in a potential interviewee. So what is it? What is curiosity, and how do you is it even possible for you to create curiosity in you? The answer is, fortunately, yes. Curiosity is, again, very simply put, is just awareness, openness to ideas, and ability to make connections between different concepts. Curiosity does not mean that you know it all. It simply means you open yourself to the world of possibilities. It simply means you are able to ask the right questions. And the reason why this is very, very important, again, I'll refer to the same thing which I said earlier. The world is changing dramatically. Almost, again, I'll repeat the number, 1 billion jobs are going to be transformed. There will be machine learning, there will be natural language processing. So there are a lot of mundane tasks which are going to be taken over by technology. What it means is, what technology cannot produce today is curiosity. And that is the secret weapon that we have as human beings. It really sparks innovation. It is the beginning of the entire cycle that feeds your ability as a learner. So this is very, very important. And you know what the best thing about curiosity? It does not diminish with the age. Even if you are 50 years old, 70 years old, or 5-year-old, you can have the same curiosity. I have a daughter who is only 3 years old, and she asks me 100 questions that what is this, what is that? And I will always encourage her to ask even more questions, even if I'm tired after doing 15 hours of meeting in a day. But do not kill that curiosity inside you. And if you feel that you lost that edge in curiosity, then today I'll give you some practical things you can do to build your curiosity muscle. And yes, I call it muscle. So how can you build and strengthen your curiosity muscle? Very simple things. At least in writing, it is very simple. In practical terms, it's not so simple. There are three things which you can do on a daily basis. And once you do this on a daily basis, then it becomes your muscle power. And muscles have a memory. I don't know how many of you know that, but there are certain reactions you do unknowingly. There are certain way you behave unknowingly, right? A very simple thing. Why do you brush your teeth in the morning? Because you want to keep it clean. You want to, and slowly and steadily it becomes your habit. Then you don't need to think twice about brushing your teeth because you develop that muscle, you develop that memory in your body. Same way, you can also develop curiosity if you feel you've lost it along the way. And there are very, very simple practices. Number one, face your fears. Again, this sounds very dramatic, sort of a movie like, but this is very simple. Whatever things you're afraid of, just put it on a piece of paper that, hey, I do not like asking questions. How many of you are there in this group who do not like asking questions? And I would really want them to ask one question in whatever I've done so far. Let's see how many of you can practice this right now. Anyone? What is the question? Failure. I think Shweta is writing failure. Fear of failure. Okay. So again, I do not want to do any one-on-one dialogue here, but the point I'm trying to make is whatever fear of failure that you have, Shweta, please put it on a piece of paper. And once you do that, only thing that you need to do is just think it through. Let's assume that fear of failure or that fear is you do not want to be in front of a crowd. Let's assume that is a fear that you have. Just ask questions at what keeps you doing that. And if you remove that fear, what is the positive reinforcement or what is the result you will get if you get rid of that fear? And have that as a goal. For example, in my personal case, I did not like making presentations. I hated in terms of being in front of people. But once I realized that if I remove this fear, the fruit that I'm gonna get or the success that I'm gonna get will be in terms of getting to the best B school in 1 year program. So I took a goal that I really want to be in the top 10 B schools across the globe. And one of the criteria of getting into that B school was you have to be a good presenter. So the moment I wrote it down on a piece of paper that this is my goal and this is my fear, it really became a piece of cake for me to take steps. Yes, there were failures along the way, but the very moment you have your fruit, and again, if you do not know what is habit loop, I would really urge you, just go to Google and put a query that habit loop or habit hack, and you will really be able to understand that how can you create this habit. Whatever fear you have, whatever failures that you have, more often than not they are perceived failures. So only thing you need to do over here is put it on a piece of paper and just write, if you remove that failure, what are the positives you're going to get. Number two, in terms of making curiosity muscle or strengthening your curiosity muscle, always seek for novel experiences and ideas. What it means, get out of your comfort zone. That is only what it means. If you are an HR person doing recruitment, please make sure that you stretch yourself in terms of getting into HR general management piece. Go and talk to your management stakeholder in terms of what is the role HR can play in terms of making an organization successful. If you are a developer, talk to your customer. understand what kind of product or service are they looking for. It's not about only doing coding from the back end, it's also about talking to people, getting new different experiences. If you're going to do something different, then slowly and steadily your curiosity muscle will be strengthened. You will like doing different things. Again, get exposure to new environment. And on the similar front, what I did or what we did as a milestoning is we created different career pathing, wherein we started shifting people from one department to another. As long as they were doing really good in their own department, we give them exposure to get into different department. For example, an engineer can get an exposure to being into product management role. A product manager can get an exposure to being into customer success role. A front-end developer get an exposure to be a back-end developer and vice versa. And we call this as parallel career pathing. Typically you only or horizontal career paths. Typically in the organizations you only have vertical paths, that hey, you are a software engineer, you become senior software engineer, then you become a team lead, then you become a manager, then you become a director, and so on and so forth. But the world we live in no longer requires you to be only unidirectional, and having that diversity in your experience is very, very crucial. And it's not just only for the benefit of the organization, it gives much more benefit to your teams in terms of scaling effectively. So please have novel experiences. And again, you might feel that hey, in your company you do not have that. From my perspective, it's just a matter of going to your manager and talking about this. So make possibilities and seek novel experiences. And the last piece is focus on what you love. More often than not, we ignore this. Always develop a hobby. Have a sport that you love to play, even if it is cricket, even if it is volleyball, play guitar, something. Have something beyond your work and beyond your normal routine in life. This will not only force you to learn something new, but it will also unwind your continuously thinking mind that, hey, I need to grow in my career, I need to do this, I need to do that. So you should always have something wherein you can focus on doing something you love. Even if it means that you love spending time with kids, you love whatever that is, have something which fuels passion to your life. If you do these three things, again, just to sum it up, pen your fears on a piece of paper, have new experiences in terms of your work, in terms of outside work, and have a hobby. These three things alone will help you develop curiosity mindset. So again, just to wrap it up, there are two mindsets of becoming lifelong learner. One is your growth mindset, another one is curiosity mindset. So these are very three practical tips you can implement on your own in your life, also in your organization, in terms of really making those learning programs successful. Okay. Uh, this is the last piece I'm going to cover today. And again, I want to take some time into going into detail of each one of this. So far we've talked about developing mindset. One is your growth mindset, another one is curiosity mindset. But would mindset alone solve the problem? Probably not. Like I said, we have to create learning as a habit. And if a habit is to be created, from my perspective, it is the hardest thing in probably at least in human life. Developing a new habit, cultivating a new habit, it is the most difficult things. So to help you ease out in this new habit development process, there are few core skills, or I wouldn't even say skills, there are few core steps that you can take which will really help you develop this learning mindset. And once you understand this as an HR person, or as a management, or as a manager, once you understand this core skills and the mindset, after that, if you develop programs focusing around this, I can guarantee you it will help you generate results. It will help you improve employee retention. It will help you improve your customer satisfaction. It will help you improve your overall quality of the product or service you're building. So across all the dimensions, it will really start becoming an effective initiative. So let's come back. What are the 5 core skills of intentional learners? Number 1, first of all, create very small and clear goals. And this is probably a really bad habit. Even I would say, even today, I do at times feel that my to-do list or my list of things which I want to learn right now probably is in 200s. Can I learn all those 200 things? I don't think so. Can I learn 2 or 3 things in a week or in a month? Probably yes, I can. So it is really important that from those wild wish that you have, that hey, I want to learn all of these things, create a goal which is really, really reasonable and which matters to you the most. Number 2, make that goal very concrete. It could be very simple thing as, hey, I want to clear this certification. Or it could be very simple thing as, I really want to improve my employee satisfaction from 5 to 6. Whatever those goals are, make it very, very concrete and have once in a career mindset. What is once in a career mindset? Any takers? What do you feel? What is once in a career mindset? Any thoughts? Anyone? What do you think? What is once in a career mindset? No, not long-term goal. Actually, the answer is in the words itself. I have a job, so no need to learn more. No, no, no. Must be achieved at least once. No. Once in my career, I want to do XYZ. Somewhat near to what the actual answer is. So I think Dhruval is writing that once in my career, I want to do XYZ project. Very near to that. So what this means is, like I said, I have 200 things I want to learn, right? And at times, it really becomes difficult to learn all those 200 things. So adopting once in a career mindset, it simply means that I'm not going to get this opportunity again ever in my career. So for example, I'm a HR person who is doing, or let me not take HR example. Let's assume that, hey, I'm a backend developer. Again, I'm assuming a lot of people are from the IT field. That's why I'm taking that as an example. And there is a new customer who has come up, and that customer project requires that more skill set on the front end, on say Angular or say on React or similar other framework. So having once in a career mindset means that you being open and you thinking that, hey, this is once in a lifetime sort of an opportunity. If I don't do this now, probably I will be stuck up in doing backend development forever in my career. So having that mindset that, hey, this is once in a career opportunity, then learning becomes very easy. The inhibitions or the friction that you have with yourself, that why should I learn? I've learned for 21 years in my career, 15 years in school, 4 years in college, 2 years in masters. Why should I learn more? So that inhibition that you have in your mind, or that friction that you have, you can remove it easily once you start thinking about once in a career sort of a mindset. So Very simply put, let's set very small and clear goals. Make sure that they matter to you, and at the same time make it concrete. I hope everyone understands SMART goals: specific, measurable, action oriented, result oriented, and time bound. Make it a SMART goal and adopt once in a career mindset. So that's number one skill. So before you design a new L&D program, make sure this is something we have focused on with the teams, with the employees, and we've aligned this with the employees. Instead of making it a forced, I think the very first comment I get was a forced initiative. So once this alignment happens with your team, it really becomes easy to then make your L&D initiatives very, very successful. Second piece, extremely important, specifically nowadays, remove distractions. And it simply means not only removing distractions of social media, of Facebook and LinkedIn and so on and so forth. It also means that you need to have your own personal operating model. And for me, my own, and again, it is different for everyone. For me, personal operating model means I really want to plan my time very well. I have really created, uh, call it operating system. You call it OS, right? There is an Android as an OS, uh, iOS. Same way, I have my own OS, Vikas OS, wherein there is a clear way of functioning, wherein I would like to have very clear idea about where I'm going to spend my time. And once I decide that I'm going to spend next 1 hour in learning something new, I will be reading this 3 different blogs on a daily basis. That personal operating model, having a specific time allocated for that, is something really, really important. And then switching off all the distractions, whether the distraction is emails or phones or social media or anything at all. Just 100% focus on the work that you are doing and nothing else. Be mindful in the moment. What it simply means, again, mindfulness is a very, very powerful um, practice. Easier said than done. And most importantly, conduct experiments and be flexible. I took one goal that I want to learn, um, or I want to read 3 new articles on a daily basis. I literally did 10 experiments before I finalized on a personal operating model that was suitable for me. So things are not going to happen overnight. So you will have to do experiments. I did an experiment that, hey, I will read articles the very moment I start my work at 8 o'clock in the morning. That did not work out. Then I thought, hey, I will do it only over the weekend. Over the weekend, I'll read, instead of daily reading 2 articles, over the weekend, I will read 10 articles. Again, did not work out. Again, I slowly and steadily experimented. And then finally, I found my own personal operating model that, hey, if I do this in this fashion, it really helps. And at the end of the day, that ended up becoming very different. That I read 20 minutes of podcast and I read 20 minutes of article. I cannot read 3 articles. And that is what the realization that happened to me. Reading 3 articles or 3 new things is simply was not possible for me. So having that experimentative mindset and being flexible, the goal is to learn something new. So even if I learn one thing new instead of 3 things new, you have to find that personal operating model, which is unique to you, which is gonna give you, call it pleasure or call it um, satisfaction. You have to find that balance. So removing distraction is the most important aspect, and defining that personal operating model is the most important aspect. And next 3 pieces are very simple. I'll not spend a lot of time, but first and second was very crucial. Third piece, seek feedback. Very simple. If you're learning Angular, make sure you talk to a developer who knows Angular very well. and take feedback from them. Feedback is a mechanism which will help you recognize your blind spots very easily. So it is very crucial that we take feedback. And one point I would add here, feedback doesn't mean that you take everything on its face value. You have to have or develop ability to decide how to take that feedback or how to treat that feedback. Someone might come and tell me after the session that, hey, Vikas, this session was really bad. I did not like it at all. And someone might come and tell me, hey, this was fantastic and I loved it. And someone will come and give me very concrete feedback that because you should have done this 2 or 3 things differently. Now it is totally up to me which feedback I want to take, I want to grasp, and how do I want to improve. You cannot take each and every feedback personally. You have to evaluate each feedback objectively. And that is what separates the best people from the others in my opinion. So having the ability to digest the feedback is really, really crucial. And finally, seek experts. That is the easiest thing that you can do, whether it is learning Angular or learning any other advanced mechanism. Again, deliberate in the areas you want to grow in. Have a very narrow focus. Don't have 200 things to improve on. It's not going to happen. 1 or 2 or 3 things, and go completely in detail without being superficial. If you know something, make it a point that you know it fully well. And then you develop your curiosity muscle, and then you become a lifelong learner. And again, finally, practice. Practice makes a man perfect, and that's how it works. Continuous practice. And along the way, have a regular reflection. How much have you improved? Before you started learning something, during you were learning, and after you've learned that. So have this simple framework: set goals, remove distractions, seek feedback, deliberate the areas you want to grow in, and practice with this 5 things. So even when you develop your learning programs, make sure those learning programs are aligned to this 5 simple core practice or core skills. If it is not aligning to these 5 things, I can assure you learning programs will not yield results as much as they should have. And I think I now feel that a lot of people are getting restless to enjoy the weekend. So I think I'll sum it up very simply. Learning itself is a skill. Make sure we recognize that. Be an intentional learner. I think I've given simple framework in terms of, again, I wouldn't call it framework, simple practices that you can follow in your day-to-day life, whether in terms of developing growth mindset or it is in terms of developing curiosity mindset. Build your curiosity muscle. Extremely, extremely important. Before creating any L&D programs, please understand the DNA of learning. Very, very crucial. Understand the 5 core skill sets for learning itself, then you create learning framework. And finally, please stay hungry and stay foolish. Nothing is more important than that. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much in terms of being a wonderful audience and spending your last 45 minutes with me. Truly, honored. So thank you so much, Peterson. Thank you, Nehali, for getting me on board on HRAI session. Truly honored. Thank you so much. And I would love if you guys have any questions, any practical things you want to ask about. More than happy to share my perspective.
It was very insightful session, Vikas. Thank you so much for like all this insight, which we were already knowing, but we were not able to realize actually. So before we start the question and answer session, we would be running a poll. So I would request all the participants to please participate and give your valuable feedback. Meanwhile, you can also put your questions in the chat box, which will be beneficial to other participants as well. So we'll just hold here for a few seconds and we will start our question and answer session. Okay. So we have a question like, how can we make learning programs more attractive and lucrative for employees in current times?
So again, I don't think so there is a single clear answer to that. What has really worked for me is aligning the objectives of an employee with the objectives of the organization. Hello? Hey, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So the whole objective alignment, um, again, I'll refer to the very first comment I think someone made, that they are forced initiatives. So whenever your learning becomes a forced initiative, it will never ever be successful. So number one, it has to be aligned with whether really employee wants to or has that ambition or not. That's number one. And again, if the ambition is not there, there is a way to create that ambition as a management. At the end of the day, if you are into HR, you are into selling your organization. So how can you create that alignment? And creating that alignment in itself is an art. For you to be able to show that growth path as an HR person is very, very crucial. So for me, having that alignment is very, very important. And second, again, I'll say the same thing. It is not about creating learning and development programs. It is about creating the culture of curiosity. People would still be interested in learning something if that becomes a habit. If learning becomes a habit wherein there is someone who is sharing, and again, the way I have really worked in my organization is we start rewarding people who share learning or who share something new, something innovative. And if you really understand the habit loop, there is a clear cue, there is a clear uh, cue means you start doing some activity, then you do that activity, and then there is a reward. So when you continuously reinforce that behavior in the organization, that hey, this person acts, he or she learned something new, and he shared that with wider audience, and that person was rewarded. So small, and again, reward doesn't mean monetary reward. It could simply mean public recognition. It could simply mean that we provide that employee an opportunity to grow in the team. So once you create this sort of a feedback loop in the organization, this habit in the organization, wherein you start rewarding small learnings, I can guarantee you that your learning programs will start making an impact. So two things from my perspective: one, align your employees objectives with organization objectives, and two, create this small behavioral loops in the organization wherein you start rewarding people for learning and for growth. And then I do strongly believe your programs will not look like forced programs, and b, it will start having bigger impact than they were showing before.
Amazing, very rightly said. Okay, we have a second question. How can we add gamification while designing the learning program? Any examples on it?
Gamification has been very, very interesting. I think, again, there could be numerous examples. I think the best thing that we have done is, or we are actually planning to do, is hackathons, wherein in a short time frame we start doing ideation exercise and creating an MVP or minimum viable product exercise, and we start rewarding that. So for us, that kind of gamification has worked really well. Otherwise, other general gamifications haven't given us great results so far. But and again, this totally depends on the company and the context. uh, Maybe the gamification strategy for Infosys would be very different compared to, say, 300 people company that I manage, is going to be very different. So there is always going to be a context to what kind of gamification works. uh, so for us, hackathons have been really, really awesome.
Okay, let's move to the next question. Does writing daily reflection help us to develop learning habits?
I can't agree more than that. If you have the ability and patience to do that, please continue that. That is awesome practice. I would say if someone is not able to do it daily, even if you do it weekly, every weekend, for me, that is a great place to start. It will definitely improve. Again, just writing will not improve for sure, but then there has to be a clear, uh, you know, effort to pursue the goal. So that has to be there. So definitely, again, I said something similar on writing about fears, that put all your fears on a piece of paper and then put also rewards, that if you remove your fears, what are the rewards? And once you have your reward in front of you, automatically you start creating plans to achieve those rewards. So definitely put reflection, put what you want a piece of paper, and once you start having a habit of tracking that yes, you've achieved something, and that tracking becomes very pleasure, right? So definitely, if you can do it on daily basis, nothing like it. But if you can't do it daily, at least do it weekly. That's what I would say.
Okay. Let's have the last question for today's session. How do we keep employees motivated to sustain upward momentum of learning graph?
uh that's a tricky question again. So I'll give the same example. I think what worked for me was creating that habit loop, that we started rewarding small learnings. We did simple one thing, that every Friday we kept 1 hour for innovation, and we said that anyone who comes in and presents an innovative idea for 15 minutes, we give them public recognition. Initially, for the first 4 sessions, only 2 people came in every session, and after that, now there is a waiting list. So small things, try to reinforce it in the organization. I don't think so it is about creating a fancy framework or even monetary rewards. I do believe even simple recognition in the organization goes a long way, and for me that is the only way to keep employees motivated. And definitely, since you're talking about employee motivation, one thing which has worked very well for me is showing the growth path to an employee, or even saying simply that, hey, this would look good on your CV. That goes a long way in terms of motivation. So having that sort of a being a mentor kind of a mindset, uh, and building that relationship on a very authentic level with an employee would go a long way, right? We know for a fact that employee is not going to work in the same organization forever in the life, right? And once the intention is to create a connection, to build a network, I think a lot of problems gets resolved from that perspective. So I'm sorry, I don't have a very concrete answer for you that how do you improve the morale of the employees for learning. But for me, just simple small things has worked really well, and I would just follow that.
Very well described. We do have a few other questions, but we are running out of time. So what we will do is, like, we will send all the questions to you, and then after we would reply to the participants through WhatsApp or emails.
Sure. And again, feel free to get in touch with me on LinkedIn. I've shared my link, or even on Twitter. More than happy to answer and connect on both the platforms.
Yeah, sure. So thank you so much, Vikas, for such an insightful session. Once again, you had covered many important aspects like core skills of an intentional learner, curiosity mindset, and the challenges which we face to meet our reskilling goals, to learn unfamiliar things as well. So we can't thank enough. It was our pleasure to being with you today, and I'm sure many of us will introspect and develop the habit of learning each day. So before we conclude with our today's session, we would want to thank all the association members, Geisha, NASCOM COE, and LinkedIn Local for supporting all these HRI events. To know more about this association, I would request participants to visit the links which is provided in the chat window. So thank you so much once again to all our participants and our dear speaker for joining us today. And do join us for our next masterclass, which is scheduled tomorrow on Wealth Management by Mr. Ankit Jindal on 26 September 2020. I would request you to register for this event at the link mentioned in the chat window. And you can also join our WhatsApp chat group from which you will be able to get all the links and the further details. So that's it from today's masterclass. Wishing you a very happy weekend. Stay safe, take care, and bye-bye for now. Thank you so much, everyone, once again.
Thank you.